How can this team really capitalize on more of the opportunities that you have in games?
Well, we're creating some good chances. I think now it's more on getting a little bit more inside, getting second opportunities. We're getting some good shots, but I feel like after that we're not really there with bodies. We're not really there taking care of the rebounds, getting net front presence. And in the beginning of the season we got 35, 45 shots a game, and we had second opportunities and stuff. So that's just what we got to get back to now. Be a little more hungry in front of that.
There are some changes with the lineups out there today, and even with the power play unit. So what are you seeing out of some potential regeneration with new bodies together?
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really, as a whole group, we didn't really capitalize anything on the power play and didn't really create that energy and that momentum for the team. And so sometimes splitting up the lineup a little bit and getting a little change can sometimes bring a lot of energy. So I just see it's a good opportunity. Now we have two good solid groups, and we can hopefully get some good scoring shot and create a lot of energy for the team. And same with the lineup overall.
One of the things that no one wants to do is lose, but you can learn a lot through these losses. So what are some of the biggest lessons that the team has learned over these past 3 games as they're looking to get back into the win column?
Well, we're going into a character game today. Today we're going to show a lot. We had a couple of games where we were a little down, and now it's just a huge test for us to bounce back. This is going to show where our team is going and what kind of character we have in the group. And I feel like it's up to us now to take this in our hand and become a little emotional and dialed in the game and have a good start and do everything we can to get a win here.
When you're playing a team like Philadelphia, who's very desperate to win, and they were able to hold you guys to less than 20 shots last game, what are some of the biggest things you've learned in those first 2 games that you need to bring in tonight?
Well, they work extremely hard. They're a hard-working team. They're relentless on the forecheck. They're tracking very hard. For us now, it's just going to be simplifying our game. We're playing with a lot of speed in neutral zone, not try to force anything. They got some good skill up front, so for us to get the pucks down there and then simplify the game. As I said before, gets a lot of shots and get a good start in the game is going to be important.
Ryder, when lineup changes are made, how important is it also that certain duos stay together, right? Like, you don't want to mix up chemistry too much, so how important is that sometimes we look at lines as duos as opposed to necessarily trios?
I think that usually helps the team. Usually you know which duos, as you said, play good together, and you don't want to mix up everything. But usually there's a couple guys that have been playing with each other more that works, and that, as I said before, that can sometimes bring a lot of energy to the group. That you get to mix it up a little bit, and I'm just excited to go out there and get another game in.
Thanks, Ryder.
Brendan Smith plays his 600th game tonight. What has he brought to this group?
Oh, that's awesome. He brings a lot. He brings a character guy that gives everything in practice and every game, and he's a great locker room guy that we learned a lot from, and he really brings that routine to this, if you call it a younger group. So it's been great. So it's going to be fun being out there with him when he's playing his 600 game.
Ryan, I know no team loves to lose, but what lessons is this group learning, especially earlier in the season, about what they need to do to be a better team?
You're going to have ups and downs in the year. I think we needed to realize that as a group. And we had a really good start, which is, takes a lot of the pressure off of a streak like this where when we had 10-plus games in a row of wins, and there's some games in there that maybe you shouldn't have won that you kind of squeaked it out, whether your goalie wins it for you or timely scoring, things like that, it does take the pressure off of a streak when you're not doing so well. And we're not playing bad hockey, we're just not finding ways to win. So we're just working through it, trying to grow our game and to find ways to win.
What are some of those ways that you need to find to win?
I think we just need to get on the interior of the ice a little bit more. We're playing a little bit of a perimeter game. We've got a lot of possession time and things like that, but I think we need to get a little bit gritty, and I think when things aren't going your way, that sometimes you need to score ugly goals. And we do a nice job of scoring a lot of pretty goals. We got a lot of speed and skill, but I think we need to find ways to score rebound goals, tips, things like that, and that'll go a long way for us.
You've played the Flyers a couple times already, so what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned about what they can bring, especially as a physical team?
Yeah, they're a really hard-working team. I think that's the biggest thing of when you think of the Flyers, and just the way they play and the way they've played us so far. I know both games in their building, they came out really hard, and their forecheck is really aggressive and really hard, and put us under a lot of pressure. So we're going to have to really work for each other, and you have to find quick outlets, and you don't need to make the fancy play all the time and just keep it simple sometimes and just work your way through the neutral zone and try to create some O-zone time and try to build energy that way.
It's a really unique slate of games because a lot of your opponents right now are playoff teams or predicted to be playoff teams. How does that really help you raise the level and learn lessons quicker than if you were just playing them once every 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's good for us right now. It's like you said, our schedule is tough right now. We've got a lot of good teams that we're playing in the next few weeks, so it's a good test for us and to see really where we stand and where our game's at. I don't think our game's in the best place, like I've said earlier, and we need to continue to work at it, but it's a good test for us to play good teams, and that's really how you kind of set the bar of where you're at and where you need to grow.
Brendan Smith's next game is his 600th in the NHL. What has he brought to this locker room?
Yeah, it's been great to have Smitty around. He's been in the league a long time, and it's 600 games, but I know he's been around a lot more than the number 600 says for him. So he's got a lot of veteran experience, and he's been good for us with a young group that I think we lacked in the past. So he's been a great addition for us, and I think what he brings is more than just on the ice, and it's been really good for our group, and I'm happy for him for a milestone like that.
Things, changes in lines, we saw that this morning. So what are you looking to get from this club tonight?
Well, we're looking to play well. I mean, play our game. We know that there's areas we got to keep improving at, and I think trying to balance that lines, getting back to more of a four-line attack.
And to that point, secondary scoring, however that's described, has dried up a little bit over the last 5 or 6 games or so. Yes, Hughes and Heischer have done the scoring, but the guys that were doing it earlier haven't.
Yeah, and I think that's what that four-line strength of ours has been. Everybody's been chipping in and helping get on the scoreboard. So, I think there's areas that we can improve, a better job around the front of the net, better job getting traffic, second opportunities, screens, tips, just getting inside more.
One thing that stood out to me looking at some of the shot totals in recent games, earlier in the year, high 30s, 40s, sometimes 50s. Prior to Tuesday, under 30. Is that on the Devils? Is that something that's being done to the Devils?
No, I think it's more on us. I think we're getting a little selective with our shots. I think we took a lot of shots. We looked for rebound opportunities. A lot of plays where you're looking for second opportunities off of goaltenders, and when you get those type of plays, you get the goaltender scrambling, you get the defense inside the zone, trying to relocate. So it's another area of the game that we have to get back to.
Lindy, when it comes to shuffling your lines a little bit, how much are you looking at duos as opposed to trios?
A lot of times it's duos. I think there a couple of those guys are almost on every line have played together. You look at the way the lines were. There's been games where those lines have played together. Maybe not without Bash in there, but a lot of the guys have played together. Trying to kind of balance the speed and balance the skill on the line, and secondary scoring will be a big deal. You've got to get guys on the board that maybe normally aren't there, and that's what made us a dangerous team.
What does Philadelphia bring tonight?
No, they're working incredibly hard. They've got their game in order. A lot of their bodies are back. Defense is healthier. So defensively, I think they're playing a real strong game. So again, when we mentioned opportunities to get pucks to net. They've done a good job preventing shots and opportunities. We've got to make sure that when the opportunities are there, we take them.
You said the other night not having Brendan in the lineup, on a back-to-back. I'm wondering, what do you miss when you don't have him in a lineup on the bench per se? I mean, was one of the...
Well, we are kind of a quiet group. He's vocal. He's a real positive guy. He's always up. He's always talking. He's encouraging guys. He's the one guy that, on the ice, he gets into the other team at the same time. So, but on the bench, he's just a voice that you hear all the time.
Lindy, what are you hoping to see from Eric Holla on his new line?
Well, you know, he's played with Woody before. You know, we started the year, we had a line with Woody and him and Zetz, and he's had, you know, we can talk about the opportunities he's had. I guess we just, we'd like to see the puck go in the back of the net when he gets the key opportunity. I think, you know, he had a great opportunity where he hit the defenseman the other night. He had the one that was taken away with the quick whistle. And usually you get one or two chances, but I'd like to see that line, you know, probably create 3 or 4 really good opportunities during the game and hopefully finish.
What did you see from Kevin Ball the other night, and do you think he can maybe play his way into that lineup?
You know, I think Kevin's played well. You know, I think the group has played well. I think we've been fortunate, knock on wood, that there hasn't been a lot of injuries, but Kevin has given us solid games.